Hi, everybody. If I haven't met you yet, I am Alex. I am a college program coordinator with California Youth Advocacy Network. We're really glad to have you here today. We are for our release of the California College and University Smoke and Tobacco Free Policy Report Card for 2021. We have some really cool results coming up from this year. I do want to cover a couple things beforehand, and then we're going to be able to hop right into all of our content. As you all might have noticed, this meeting is being recorded, so we will be able to share that out afterwards, and so you can still participate regularly throughout. And actually that kind of gets into our Zoom housekeeping. So I am going to ask that you remain muted unless you are invited to speak. If you would like to speak, feel free to raise your hand, or you can throw questions that you have into chat, and just let us know if you are looking for if you have anything in particular you want us to focus on. We will have a little section at the end to be more specific questions where I'll call out in case you want to wait for any of that. However, I am very open to, I have my chat box open on my screen. So if you do send questions my way, I will be able to see them and I will be able to answer them in time. So please don't hesitate. I can see all of that part as well. Very glad to have all of y'all here. I see a lot of familiar names and I see some unfamiliar ones, which also makes me excited. So we're going to go ahead and hop right in. So for any of you who are new, I wanted to give a little bit of background about who we are. So California Youth Advocacy Network, we are a nonprofit that is funded by a grant through California Department of Public Health. And we have three primary focuses that we do within our work. We work with youth to increase and strengthen youth engagement in commercial tobacco control work, as well as with young adults and colleges, which is for advocating for those smoke and tobacco-free college and university campuses. We also work on a lot of the emerging products work, which includes educating young people and adult partners and communities about emerging commercial tobacco and nicotine products, as well as supporting quit attempts. So basically what this means, all wrapped up together, is that we are here to both encourage youth and young adult voices to speak up within their own spaces, but also to provide a lot of education around what's happening in the tobacco and nicotine world, and also create spaces in which young people feel safe to be able to quit and receive support if that is something that they're attempting to do. And we have a lot of really cool ways that we do that. And that's some of the things that we're going to kind of touch base on how you all can do that too. So a little background of how our report card works. We have been releasing the report card through CYAN for about 5 years, for 5 years now. We started releasing it back in 2016. We do have a lot of data from before then as well, because we've been doing a lot of this work out in the field. But this is our official fifth publication of the report card. The way that we collect a lot of our information is between May and May. So over the course of an entire year, we track and report. We track and report on official and published policies. So this basically means that the policies we are including in this report card are specifically policies that have been published in the guidelines for the campuses and is something that is officially released. So we, as much as we do love to celebrate our colleges that are very close and doing their hard work and who have gotten verbal agreements and such, we do base this report card specifically on those that have the language put out into their board policies and their district policies and such. And then we also do this based off of a point value. So all the scores that we have are based off of public health recommendations. And I do want to specifically point out that designated smoking areas do have a lower score due to the fact that there are hazardous increases of the secondhand smoke and vapor, as well as waste, specifically in the designated smoking areas. And we have a lot of science behind that that shows that designated smoking areas aren't really beneficial for improving the health of our campuses, improving on the waste, or for encouraging quit attempts. That actually a lot of times encourages folks to use the products more because it looks like a higher concentration. So what this looks like specifically when you look at our point values is this is a little, I know there's a lot of words on this page, no worries. So this is just kind of the breakdown of from the full A plus score all the way down to no written policy, which is 0 points and an F. And so you'll notice that as you're going through in each of the different sections, the inclusion of e-cigarettes, electronic smoking devices, bumps it up just that little bit extra within each of the different point values, which does affect the overall score of the different regions as well as the campus scores. All right, so now getting into some of the actual content that's going to be released. So by the way, I do want to also let you all know the report card is actively being released as we are doing this particular webinar. So you all are the first ones to get to see all this content. All of that will be posted up on our website, and we'll make sure to throw a link into the chat at the end of the webinar so that you get a chance to download the physical page content if you want to go through and read it, see your scores and everything like that. One of our main focuses within this year's report card is on the reopening as a smoke and tobacco free campus in these next coming years. We know that with COVID, it's been kind of a little bit of an odd time with the we've been digital for a year now. We have all of these different stressors that are going on. Our students are experiencing higher levels of stress. Our staff and faculty are experiencing a lot of extra stress and confusion. And so when we're moving forward and actually reopening our campus, it's going to be very important that we actually have some extra things in place to really support everybody. And so we have 3 things in particular that we're recommending as our key strategies for the reopening smoke and tobacco free. There is a lot more you can do as well, and we can always work with you for coming up with personalized ideas for anything that it is that you would like to work on moving forward with your campuses. So first up, the first recommendation we have is on the adoption of a 100% smoke and tobacco-free policy. So this is kind of including all of those advocacy efforts and really working with your campuses to create a safe environment for your students, for their lung health and such. So before the students come back on campus, having the opportunity to adopt that 100% smoke and tobacco-free policy creates a protective environment from the spread and severity of respiratory illnesses such as COVID. So we know that as the semester starts, if the semester starts as a smoke and tobacco-free environment, it actually helps to ease the transition for that clean air space, which means that folks are coming in and it's already that preemptive expectation that the area is smoke and tobacco free. And so it helps to just kind of re-energize the campus to have that already in place. And it helps to really protect against some of those factors of the spread, because we know that to be able to smoke or vape, folks do need to remove their masks. They have to inhale deeply, exhale deeply, and that can really push particles further, which can increase potentials of spread. And we still have to be careful with variants and such. So definitely having this is very helpful when you first restart up your campus. And then the second thing we were mentioning is promoting the existing and new smoke and tobacco-free policies when students are returning. So this includes things like refreshing your signage or sending out a welcome message to your students about the policy and the protective factors of having a smoke and tobacco-free life for their respiratory health. So this could be just simply putting up some new signs on your campus if they've gotten a little bit rusty, a little bit old. If you have a brand new policy, having some new yard signs, or even if you've had a policy for a while, having some yard signs out that's welcome back to your clean air campus. And then there's also the option of, we know a lot of campuses do send out welcome notices to their students via email, and they'll send one long welcome letter. We do have some sample letter language that you can potentially use for something like that if you're looking for something to keep in mind, which includes, we are excited to welcome you back to our smoke and tobacco free campus after so long. Let's continue to support our lung health by refraining from using any tobacco or nicotine products while on campus grounds. This includes smoking, vaping, and use of smokeless tobacco products. If you're interested in quitting tobacco, visit the campus health center or go to CYAN online quit tobacco for free resources and support. So something short, sweet, quick, easy to throw in. It's only a couple sentences, and it's something that can just remind to folks that they have the ability to get some resources and that we have this clean air space. And then the third thing is making sure that there's ample access to treatment and quit services. This one honestly is a really key part of what we need to do for all of our students or staff and our faculty. They have been experiencing very high levels of stress during this last year. And for some, this manifests in new habits and addictions. So it's important to support the campus population with resources to get them through their day. So you can check out CYAN for some of our resources. They're free and anonymous, and you can share that out and get support through that. There's a lot of other great resources, but this is also where it's super important that we all as campus partners and campus members and advocate to make sure that our health centers and our campus have access to different quit services and just support services to make sure that students are able to make it through an 8-hour day when they maybe have been able to sneak off and get an extra little hit of nicotine throughout the day. They're going to need to retrain themselves out of that. So this is where we can really support them and help them get out of that, that mindset. All right. So now we get to hop into the fun part. As a data junkie myself, I really do love the numbers. And so I'm really excited to get to share some of these numbers with all of you for this year. The first thing we are very excited to announce is the fact that our smoke and tobacco free colleges and universities have continued to go smoke and tobacco free, 100% smoke or tobacco free, which means that we are at 69% of all public colleges and universities. 102 colleges and universities, public colleges and universities in California are now 100% smoke or tobacco free, which is extremely exciting. And when you look at this in comparison to how we've been tracking it over the years, you can see all the way back in 2008, we were all the way down at about 5% of colleges and universities that were smoke and tobacco free in California. And you can see that steady increase, that large spike in 2017 from the UCs and the CSUs continually going in the system-wide changes. And then everything after 2017 has been from community college growth. So this is all from those community colleges that have there's been the recommendations of from the chancellor's office, from the SSCCC, and these are the community colleges that have opted within their areas to continue to create these smoke or tobacco-free spaces. And you can see that comparative between from 2020 to 2021, we had a 3% increase, which is fantastic. And we're really looking forward. I have a slide later to celebrate specifically those colleges that have been that have gone smoke and tobacco free this year. The way this breaks down with the different types of policies is that you can see that we have 62% of them have the 100% smoke and tobacco free policy. So about 7% of them are 100% smoke free. And then it goes continually down with 14% in designated areas, 11% in parking lots, and then the 5% and 1% in the entryways and no written policy. So we can see there is a steady increase of campuses continually going towards that maximum level clean air campus of that 100% smoke and tobacco free. So we're very excited to see that. And so when you look at all the different systems, when you're breaking this down to more of that system level, 10 out of 10 of the University of California campuses are 100% smoke and tobacco free. The California State University system is 23 out of 23, also 100%. And those passed system-wide in 2014 and 2017. And then in the community colleges, we are at 60% of colleges being smoke and tobacco free, which is 69 out of the 115 campuses that we have in California. Now, we do acknowledge the fact that all of these are the numbers for the public colleges. We do intend for next year's policy report card to include the different private schools as well. So do look out for that in the future from us. We will be including more of the campuses. We know this is an encompass of all of the campuses. We still have it focused specifically on the public schools for now. And we are very excited to include the private schools in this next coming year. So now we get to celebrate. The colleges that have actually gone 100% smoke and tobacco free this year include Coastline Community College, which is in Orange County, Cerritos Community College, which is in Los Angeles County, Orange Coast Community College in Orange County, and also Feather River Community College in Palomas County. So these are our 4 colleges that between May of 2020 and May of 2021 were successfully able to include a 100% smoke and tobacco-free policy on their campus. And we are extremely excited to acknowledge them. I do see a question. Do you have a list of community colleges 100% smoke-free so we can check our local? Yes. So that will be released in the full report. And you can find that when, so you can definitely look into our report card, and it's all broken down by region. So it's very easy to find. Yes. So yeah, the other thing that I wanted to give you all a chance to do is, some of you might have already heard from us up before this. We have been working on doing the youth and young adult tobacco use survey. And we are actually going to be having a webinar on next Wednesday at the same exact time. So from 10 to 11, I do have a link available later on in the slides where you can get the full breakdown of all of our findings from this. But today I wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek, and in the report card, you'll actually get to see a little bit of a sneak peek of some of this data and how it relates to our colleges and what we've been seeing. So here's a first look for all of y'all who attended today. So the youth young adult tobacco use survey, we launched it back in February, and we had a total of 423 participants, and 89% of those were between the age of 18 and 24. So a huge part from our demographic that we have on our college campuses. And this includes across all of the different campus types, the UCs, CSUs, private schools, community colleges. Unfortunately, we didn't have any trade or tech schools particularly respond to these. That's something that we will work on in the future to try to get more students from those regions to include as well. So some of the big things that we noticed, and so just some of the ones that you all can see, is that this survey specifically measures the type of use and the kind of shifts in commercial tobacco and nicotine use during the pandemic, and how young people were responding to the pandemic in their nicotine use. And so you can see that we've had a 42% increase amongst young people who are using nicotine products, 37% decrease, so folks who are using less of it or trying to quit, and about 21% who have had no change. So we have seen a higher increase than decrease in the amount that our folks are using in their day-to-day during the pandemic. For the different types of quit methods, and this is kind of similar to what we kind of know from a lot of different young folks, is that when we've had conversations before, is about 65% of them prefer to try to quit using commercial tobacco and nicotine on their own. So they like to try to do things by kind of looking at their own resources, trying to quit in their own means. However, we do see that the next highest up is getting support from their student health center. So having those resources on campus is extremely helpful. Pardon me for a second. And so we know that it is extremely important for health centers to actually have a method set up so that they can get some extra support. So having somebody to chat with, or just having resources available, all are super helpful for each of the school systems. And from them, going on from there is having the app and text programs. Some of them will use off-campus medical providers, and then others will contact for phone counseling. But we do know that with young adults, a lot of times using apps and funds, apps and texting are a lot more common than using any kind of phone service. So that's all y'all get for today. However, I do highly recommend you signing up for our webinar next week. Again, it's going to be the same time frame, 10 to 11 on Wednesday, June 9th. There is the full link on the screen, and I'm going to be just copying this real quick so that I can throw it straight into chat for anyone who is curious in signing up for this webinar. Highly recommend it. It's going to actually be presented by our COF student leaders, as well as our team will be there to help provide some support as well. So definitely come and check that out. On top of that, we have some other cool events coming up. Our primary one is going to be the findings for next week. So definitely go check that out. And then we also are encouraging you to check out or get signed up for our listserv. So we have consistent updates that come out. So if you go on our website, cynonline.org, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find a little spot where you can just throw in your email and it'll provide you a chance to get on our listserv. You can get all the updates of as soon as the report card comes out, as soon as we have webinars coming out, anything like that. We send out newsletters that are prevalent to whatever it is that you are working on, and you can get a lot of good resources for that. And then also the other part is that you can reach out to myself directly for any of your technical assistance or personal training needs. So if you enjoyed the content that I have here, if you want something that's designated specifically for your students to kind of cover the like vaping and understanding what it does to the body and things like that, we can definitely have conversations about that. If you want to have any of those just trainings in general, letter writing support, policy trainings, everything across the board, I can help work with you to custom make something for you and your campus. So definitely email me if something like that sounds interesting, if you would like some extra support, and I can definitely talk that out with you directly. And the other part is, so we have extended our application deadline for the COF Leadership Board. We wanted to extend the opportunity a little bit longer. We had a couple requests for a longer period. So we do have it open until June 6th. So that's 4 more days. So if you are a student who is looking to have a really cool year-long internship experience where you can do a lot of the work that's related to what you were hearing me say today. So promoting those smoke tobacco free spaces and those tobacco treatments for young adults and campuses. If you want to learn how to advocate, to educate, to gain those leadership skills, this is a really great opportunity. If you are a campus partner or you work with young adults who are a current student in some kind of California college system. It could be UC, CSUs, private, community college, trade tech, anything across those board. Encourage them to apply for this. This is a really, really awesome opportunity. So again, you only have 4 days left to do this. Share it out with all of your students. It's a fantastic opportunity. And so with that, I want to make sure you have my email. You have both of our websites. You can check us out on everything. I talked relatively quickly because I did want to make sure to really have the opportunity to answer questions for anybody who wanted to just kind of ask about what we found with the report card, anything in particular we were saying in between. And I'd really love to have that open for all of you. So with that, I'm going to open the field for questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that if anyone wants to open their videos, we can see your lovely faces and we can start this conversation.